you mentioned Kari and others bringing you to some kind of library in Antarctica, and you witnessed the extraction of scrolls from this library, but at the time you did not know what they were or what the purpose of this was. Do you have any further information on that now?
Well, you know, according to Sigmund, what they were looking for down there were files, basically, that had, I guess, a multi-generational bloodline list that traced way, way back. It was a historical document even before their planet exploded. Now, what's interesting is that everything in their society depends on bloodline. Where you are in the hierarchy, the way they apply their laws had to do with where you were in this bloodline hierarchy. So these are very, very important scrolls for them for a number of reasons. They also wanted to be able to genetically tie themselves to this pre-Adamite race and then set up this pre-Adamite race as being basically gods, and they would be demigods.
They meaning the Cabal?
The Cabal.
So this would have given them, using a legal term, this would have given them the imprimatur to claim this divine right of kings and an extraterrestrial bloodline.
Right. And then internally the documents were important because it's how they jockey for position and apply laws. It's a cultural thing as well. That's very important.
So why do you think the Anshar felt it was of such strategic significance to remove this, and why also would they want you to have witnessed it?
I don't know why they want me to witness certain things, but sometimes they have me witness things and it just doesn't really make sense to me. But they obviously were removing these documents to disrupt future plans by the Cabal and some of these non-terrestrial groups working with them.
Would you argue that they wanted you to witness this so that everyone following this story would know about it?
I think since I'm reporting the information, they wanted me to witness it firsthand.
Have there been further Anshar meetings since the last updates that we did on this show? And if so, what have they told you?
Yes, I have met mainly with Kari in the construct. And I asked her if what Sigmund told me was true, and she confirmed that, yes, that's the reason that they took the documents, was to disrupt operations by the Cabal group and also prevent them from being able to do a divine right of kings kind of a thing.
One of the most remarkable plot twists for me was that after you and I had already exchanged a great deal of information on this, I called up Pete Peterson, and he starts telling me almost exactly the same stuff. But one of the differences was that he said in one of these ships that had been converted into a very advanced base, that there were groups of people who survived the Atlantean catastrophe but had gotten locked in there. And then apparently our people finally dug them out. And this is only something that happened apparently recently. So what are your thoughts on all that?
It's a little different than the information I received. I received information that they found very small pockets of a lot of these basically genetic experiments and humans from this pre-Adamite group.
Living, you're saying?
Living, that had been living basically in cavernous areas under the ice that were discovered. I had no information about people surviving inside the ship. The information I had was that, and it would match if there were people in, was that up until the last couple of decades, it was completely ice-locked. And when they went inside, there wouldn't be a whole lot of technology left inside this cannibalized ship to sustain anyone for any amount of time. They took all of this technology out and put it into this new city that they built. So that's a little bit of a divergence.
So these people could take light sources that they build, remove them from the ship, go into these caverns, grow food, and have water that they can melt and make available to themselves. So they basically can have a sustainable society.
Yes, and there's also, less, I guess, advanced ways of getting protein and vitamins and minerals, other than using technology. There's an ecosystem, underground that they could probably use as well.
You said that some of these people were chimeras, these animal-human hybrids?
Yes.
What types have survived?
I haven't heard the specifics other than there were humans and then some of these strange sort of, I guess, experiments that were being created by the pre-Adamites.
So let's talk a little bit about these stasis beings. They trace all the way back, you're saying, to this super Earth before it blew up 500,000 years ago. How many of these beings are there, and is there any way to wake them?
Well, I don't know the exact number. There are a number of them that are in stasis. And
tens, hundreds, thousands?
Nowhere near that many. I think it's, maybe a handful, a dozen.
Okay.
And this group has put themselves in stasis at some ancient point, and I guess they've been in this ship for a long time, and it was very important for the people that were guarding them to also get them down to Earth and hook up to the power source that the ancient builder race was using to help them keep this stasis chamber in the ship working. It is piped right into the ancient builder race power source. And they have figured a way to awaken them. They are unable to awaken one at a time. They have to awaken them all at the same time. And there are a lot of security concerns about what's going to happen after they wake them. I mean, everyone who has seen the movie Prometheus will see where, the concerns are.
So you're saying that this would be a being that has literally edited out the last 500,000 years of history and wakes up knowing only that it went down when its planet either had been destroyed or was about to be destroyed.
Right.
How are they addressing the problem of these beings potentially being very dangerous when they wake up?
Well, there's pretty much a committee trying to figure out whether they're going to wake them or not. But in case they decide to wake them, they have these little mini nukes, like these 5th generation type nuke weapons that they have sitting right in the middle of all these beings in stasis. And when they awaken these, if they awaken these beings, they're going to have the people there with basically dead man triggers. If the pre-Adamites become violent or hostile, then they can be eradicated very quickly with a large nuclear explosion.
Well, this is really fascinating, and I thank you for continuing to be on the front lines and having these experiences to share with us. It's very, very interesting, and again, even if you don't believe this necessarily, it's a very fascinating story, far deeper and more complex, with threads to so many things that I've been researching over the years. I find it very believable in light of all the data that surrounds this.